Hello. And I went early last night. After the first girl was sent home. So there was three of us. It's really blowing over here. I had to walk through this rain. Oh my gosh. But anyway, it is really blowing this car around. So we got a big storm rolling through that come in from Mobile and Tacoma. So I need to get through this coastline. There's another place I really need to be right now, but I think I'm gonna wait a little bit. This one manager guy is such a problem. Started by the first week screaming at me constantly when I talked to the head of the place. He said he would take care of that. I guess, when people aren't managers for very long and haven't had any management supervision, they just don't understand that you can't yell at employees. Hey, it is rough out here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's really adorable. And they had caught him doing it. I mean, he was screaming across the room. And they caught him doing it several times to me and told them, look, the manager above you told her to do that. And I'm just like standing there, so I don't want to argue with anybody. But he is just vicious. So today he got real snotty because the phone rang and we're pretty slow. And 4 customers walked in at the same time. And the girl asked her manager, and she mentioned she was an employee. I put her on hold. He was sitting at the bar. I walked over there and said, there's someone on the phone for a manager. And then he, plots over there, sitting his butt down, won't answer the phone, going, well, who is it? I said, I don't know. They said they're an employee. And I was trying to wait on these people. And it was like, he made a big deal out of that later. Well, you should have this. And I said, okay, so I'm supposed to screen every phone call? I'm going to tell you, if I call a place and ask for the manager, it aggravates the devil out of me when the people ask me 4 times what my name is. They don't even ask me, what it's about or anything. They'll ask me my name 3 or 4 times. Then I got to be on hold for about 20 minutes. Then somebody comes on the phone and you're like, okay, are you a manager? And, I mean, it's not, if somebody asks for a manager, it's better to be very careful with that because they might be an upset customer. It could be whatever. It could be a former employee. It could be an employee that's having an emergency and can't make it to work or something. And, it's just money before that phone. That's where I come from. The customer standing right there, they need to be handled promptly. He wasn't doing nothing, just sitting in the bar, phoning. So, I mean, why is it so hard just to answer that phone when he's sitting right next to you? And I'm waiting on the customers. He's really eating. So he made a big deal about it when I was trying to leave, going on and on and on and on and on, and I said, look, why the argument? I couldn't see it. I couldn't see the comment. I was like, why the continual argument? I mean, problem solved. I'm offering to go home. The other girls got less hours than me this week because they're cutting hours back, and I was warned of that when I was hired. That, the hours we cut more and more. Yeah, So, I mean, all you have to do is understand the house. I mean, if it's kind of early in the day to be cutting people back, though, because we opened at 11, so it's like 12:15 or something when I clocked out, I guess. But uh, there for 10:30, so it's just like so crappy. You have to go get ready for work and then be there early and clock in and set up stuff, and then it's like, and it's raining terrible, so it's just really strange. And the girl that I'm working with today is so obnoxious, 100% truly obnoxious, and I just stay away, you know. But yeah, he is just going on and on and on, and I said, why the argument? Why are you just going to keep reiterating? I mean, you know, it's senseless. No communication. Communication what? He's a big boy. Is he afraid of something when he answers that phone? Because if he's afraid, maybe he's in the wrong job. Always money first. Take care of those customers. The person was on hold. All he had to do was pick up that telephone. But he sit there right next to it. Didn't want to pick it up and kept interrupting while I was trying to wait on these customers because we're supposed to greet them and everything when they come in. So I'm just so sick of bullcrap with that guy. He's been pretty good for the past week because they probably told him to tone his stuff down. So it's made it okay, but he's just a jerk. They do have this little clicky favorites thing in there. There's a lot of really, really young people working there. And they play on their phone all the time. They play around. Like the other girl I was working with was sitting there doing crossword puzzles, if you can believe that. If I owned that sucker, I'd blow a head gasket. I saw somebody on their phone or doing a crossword puzzle. Look, I mean, it's time for you to go home. You're supposed to be standing there like at attention, doing your job, finding something to do. Used to have a rule years ago: if you had time to lean, you got time to clean. It's something you can do. So I don't know. I've got three other job offers that I can take, and I was going to work another house with this house, and then I talked to a guy that works through the winters and stuff, and I said, so do you work another job with this? And he said, well, no, I try to work one house at a time, which is a good idea too, because if they want to call you in or something, you're available. But then again, if they change the schedule, it could screw you up bad. If the work is done when I don't see the problem, I assume it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, this guy just wanted to pick fight with me after I had already offered to go because I called another manager in because he's so horrible. Because I asked her, I said, I don't know what to do because, I had to leave early last night and it's been like every day this week. And I offered to, what in the living hell, Reagan? This guy is like in the wrong side of the street. But the girl had come in later than us two, and the first girl got sent home. And then shortly thereafter they wanted to cut back because I mean they have to operate the house, they have to pay the utilities, they have to pay all the employees, and if the money's not coming in the door, they don't really have a choice. But to cut people back and say, how about if you leave early, or who wants to leave early? And like yesterday, nobody did. So um, it's it makes it very, very hard. But I felt bad for the girl that had come in later. It was obviously a misschedule, and the schedule was done by the GM, but it was so obvious misschedule because there was 3 people brought in, and it's been slow all week. And uh, it just doesn't pay to have 3 people doing the same job when you don't have hardly any customers coming in. You gotta have a way to pay the house. You're going broke, paying payroll and paying for utilities. So you forced it to cut back. You don't really have a choice. It makes it hard if you're an employee because your hours get chopped all to crap. I mean, mine are terrible. Man, this coming week is like 22 hours, and this week I did like 24 or something, which is really low. But such is life. But yeah, the guy just kept wanting to pick fight with me, and I said, look, I offered to go because the other manager made the statement, who has the less hours? Because I said, I don't have a lot of hours, and I've had to go home early like every day except one day. And I said, I went early last night because I felt bad because the other girl was brought in later than us 2. And, it's a shame when they call you to work and then they just send you off. I mean, like I worked, 10:30, 11:30 to 12, like an hour and a half. And I get sent home. But she had said whoever has the least hours, she said, do you know how many hours she's got? I said, no, I didn't ask. I mean, I don't think that's my business. And in fact, she's not nice, so I try not to say much to her at all. I just do my job and try to work with her. But anyway, she went and asked her how many hours she had, and the girl had like 14 hours this week. And I went, oh, okay. And I said, I'll go then. And this guy wants to stand around and pick a fight. Why bother? So I don't know why people want to do that. I mean, it doesn't accomplish anything, the argument. Problem solved. It's over with. The phone call's over with. The customers were taken care of. Why are we bringing it up? I mean, he bring it up like 4 times. Well, you're being difficult. I said, no. I said, all he was answer the phone and refer it to management. And he was the closest manager. So I still don't understand who all really manages what. Because the other girl manager that I went to inquiring about the going home early thing, and the girl I work with goes, well, I'm not leaving early. She is the one who gave me my first interview, and then referred me to the other bigger manager. And so those are usually the people I go to ask questions or whatever. Like, we had tables that were being rained on. We had tables that were wet on the deck. And so the girl that's handling the board doing the rotation is not putting the rotation on the board like other people do, so that I can make sure each server has customer. And I really think she does it intentionally because she did it the other night. So when I asked this guy manager if we could please get the roll call on the board, because 2 times she took off doing whatever, and customers walk in the door and they need to be taken care of immediately. And so it's really terrible when you have to like gas and you're gonna piss the server off. If they miss rotation, and especially when it's that slow. And so they only get paid like $7 an hour to serve. It's really sad, but I get to the point a lot of times I just put them anywhere. If anybody's gonna complain, they can complain to the other person that doesn't do the board right. But I had requested that, to see if we could put the rotation on the board so I could read the board. Because all she had on there was 4 and 3, which doesn't help when you have 7 servers. So he went over there and she said, well, the outside tables are wet. It's a covered deck. And they have ways to close windows up and stuff too, which they had done. But some of the roof is actually leaking on the edges. So the side tables next to the wall are wet. I mean, bad. It's literally raining on them, okay? So I said, well, if all the tables are wet out there, why don't we attempt to wipe them down, or we just close on the deck? Because that's all the more reason to put the roll call on the bottom part of the in-house tables. It's all the same servers. They get some in-house and some outside. And that way I can see the roll call. And close the deck, or let's wipe them down. I'll help, And he's like, well, that's not the point. Well, to me, that's the point. I can't read the other person's mind. So, life is not that difficult. So anyway, he refused to close the tables up that were the worst. And then I offered to help go wipe the tables down. And I'm like, we don't have a towel in this whole house to wipe the tables down with. I mean, I'll help. No, I have busboys for that. Okay, I don't mind helping. But I went back and I told him, I said, those other tables, it's just literally raining on them, on the outside tables. Why shouldn't we close those off? And when the other girl manager came in, she said, absolutely, those tables need to be closed off. And I was like, well, I offered the suggestion. And so, it's just messy. My God, it's not that hard to figure out. Hardly any customers are. I think we have like a total of 4 tables so far. But yet it's only the beginning of the day. Man, my hours got trashed. So, I don't know, you guys. This is just some people that would rather argue in life than to, solve the problem and just let it roll. There's no sense in reiterate. It's just a total waste of time. It comes to the point of harassment. And this guy's so good at that. I mean, yeah, I did not care to be working with that girl today, but I had to put up with it. I mean, it's a job, so I just have to, you know, put up with it. I try not to say anything because it's not even worth the breath. I'm trying to see these comments. I can't hardly see it. But thank you for the thumbs up, you guys. But yeah, so, you know, I still got to tell you guys about all this other crap with these other restaurants and businesses. I got shorted $160 from Spirit Halloween. And that's gonna be like hell to get. And then I got shorted like $35 minimal, which was actually more than that, from the other restaurant that I was working. That they so loved me and wanted me to quit this big one that I work at. Asked me repeatedly to quit this big one, and I was leery of doing that because the big one wasn't as problematic, you know, as that other one, where they so-called so loved me and all that. And then she dipped me down on my wages behind my back without even, you know, confirming it with me. She wanted me to work the Oktoberfest and offered me like $10 an hour and 1%. I don't know what that's supposed to be. You know, it could be 1% of total house sales. It could be 1% of servers' tips, but the servers don't tip over there. I've only got one tip one time because she won't tell them. And I mean, you couldn't even work Waffle House playing that game. I don't know where you can work that you don't tip out, you know, your busboy or your expo, um, or you know, uh, any of those people because you have to. There's places where if you're serving, you have to tip out the bar and the busboy and the expo, and it's not cheap. It's usually around, depending on how much you make in tips. Most servers I've talked to in this area are tipping out 75 and better to the other employees. So a shift. So I mean, uh, there's a manager over at Red Lobster that told me he was working at the fish place, some big fish house out in Picola, and he said he was making 700 to 1,000 a night being a busboy. But he says, boy, it sure takes the devil out of you, you know. So I don't know. But anyway, I've got to decide if I'm going to go over and organize one of my storages or go talk to one of these other jobs that wanted me and see if I can get some stuff fit in because the big managers are not there today. So, you know, I don't know, but it's just aggravating. So, I don't know. But anyway, I will talk to you guys later. And the storm is settling down for a minute. It was sure gusty a minute ago. I'm talking about that. No, I was actually hired by this company. Oh, the labor board. Yeah, I've got to do that on. I want to do that on Spirit Halloween. People said Spirit Halloween didn't pay for hours either. Wow. You know, it's really strange because that Spirit Halloween is actually owned by Spencer's. And if you're not familiar with Spencer's, I knew Spencer's back in California, like when I was a kid. It was a little kiosk in the mall, a floating kiosk, And they did like engraving of little charms and pins and stuff. And I think they had like cards and stuff. And then they opened up later into like a storefront where they had cute little gift things like pictures and stuff. I don't think I would ever work for them. Seems like a big scam. Yeah, I was really disappointed. I didn't even know that Spencer's owned it till I was doing a lot of the paperwork. And it was saying, we own this and all that, da 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 da. And Spirit Halloween is just a seasonal store. It's unfortunately they don't keep it up all year round because it makes a great costume shop for all year round. And I mean, um, the stripper costume shops survive. Spirit Halloween can too all year round, and they have really nice quality costumes actually. Um, they really do. I mean, they have stuff that's wearable, several times. I've got a Cleopatra outfit my daughter and I have had that's a Spirit Halloween outfit. I found out one of their trademark outfits, and gosh, we had it for like 5 years or something, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it was used before that. I think we bought it at a secondhand store or something, and it's really beautiful. And it's really well made. I mean, you can wash it and everything in the sink and hang it up, and it's still nice. So, um, you know, I don't know. I always liked shopping the ones in NOLA. They had two in that area that I would go to both of them and catch a bunch of stuff on sale and that. But I don't go in this store anymore. But a friend of mine went in the other day, and I said, "Well, they must be having a big, big sale because they close the last day of the month." Which was strange too, because I could have swore they were open almost Christmas in NOLA. But it might be just this location that's closing like that. I don't know. Or it might be a new thing that they do. But you used to be able to go in and get some great sales stuff after Halloween. And uh, but a friend of mine went the other day and said, "God, that store's a nasty mess. It's like they drug everything out from the back and just threw it in the floors." I said, "You're kidding me." I said, "Well, they got to get rid of it because the problem is they got to pack it all up and ship it back. They're going to get in trouble when corporate has to pay all that money to ship all that junk back, because they never put it on the floor until the last, week, you know. So, but it all that really stems on management. It all comes out of management. It is being mismanaged terrible from the bottom end all the way to the district manager. It's not managed well. Um, when I was there, it was doing 5,000 or less a day, and there's so much stock goes out that door in a day, whether it's stolen, which you watch that all day long, and or sold, huge amount of stock. But nobody wants to work. You'll have five, six, seven, eight people standing around the cash registers, only one cash register running. And this guy said the same thing. He said, I couldn't believe they were all standing around the cash register and only one person's checking people out. And they had like three registers. Well, it's funny that you say that. It's seasonal. That's why it's mismanaged. Because um, I've heard other people say that too, that exact comment. But I mean, to me, if a business is not running right, it's better to fold it, you know, or start cleaning house. One of two things. Usually you'll clean house first, and then if it's still failing, you just fold it. That means no help. So, it's hard to say. Um, but uh, I mean, you just I don't know. I just hate seeing stupidity. I've owned my own businesses for years, and I've worked for a lot of other people, in my life. And it's it's sad how a lot of these businesses are run today. You know, um, I mean, just like what I went through right now for like 30 minutes of bull crap when I offered to. I mean, go no problem. The other girl has less hours than me this week. No problem. I'll bow out. Um, And then I got to be, harassed for like the next, you know, 30 minutes over and over and over again about same bull crap that makes no sense. It's already done and gone. And it was simple matters. A telephone call, customers waiting to be taken care of, you know. I mean, just stupid crap. Um, I mean, it just doesn't take a mental midget to figure the crap out. But I always ask management before I, try to do something, like I'd asked, they said the tables were right outside. Well, I mean, we don't have anything to wipe them down with. I've got squeegee for the freaking fish tank. You can use the squeegee on the tables too. I mean, if we're short towels or something, it's not hard to figure out. But I just don't know. I hold my breath so much because I don't want to stand and argue with people because I'm standing there going, this is so stupid. You know, like it's so stupid beyond belief. And I'm afraid to even waste my breath over stupidity like that. Hopefully just blow away. you know, because, I mean, this guy, there's nothing you can say to him to make him shut up. He's just an idiot. And why they put him in management, he's just horrible. He knows nothing about supervision management. He knows nothing about the law and how to, deal with employees. You don't scream at employees. You don't harass employees. It's abusive. You know, that's not the way you do people. It's like the girl I was working with today. She walked away saying something to that guy manager. They're like buddies, and she's like, I don't train people. I got news. Any job you work, if someone asks you to teach somebody something, this is your job. And why? Because you know how to do that job. And you're being paid to teach a new person the job. And hopefully, if you're doing your job right, you'll teach this new person the right way. And it shouldn't be a big problem if you know what your job is. It's just one of those things. I have worked at tons of places and had to teach people or show people. We got this discussion the other day. I had an employee catch me outside in the parking lot going, do you have a problem with me? And I said, nope. And I was coming into work. And another employee was there witnessing this. And uh, so I need to talk to you. I said, great. She says, good. And I said, but that will be in-house with management there. No problem. And why do I say that? Because when I'm not getting in any kind of difficulty outside of the business, any business matter should be held within that business with management standing there. You should never approach an employee, especially on negative terms, outside of work. I don't care if it's at the grocery store, in the parking lot of work, down the street, at Starbucks, wherever it is you might be, that is just not appropriate. So, the girl, she was like walking away and she's like, well, I don't have time. I'm leaving. I'm like, okay. I just kept walking in the building. When I went to clock in, then I guess she decided she had time because she came up there and talked to the manager. And manager came to me and said, what happened? I said, I was approached as I was entering work in the parking lot. And I just told the person, sure, no problem, in-house with management present. And because I've seen two employees go after each other. I've seen it at Harbor Walk Village. My daughter and I would sit and watch it. This one guy would be drunk, and him and another person would be beating each other's butt. anywhere from 9 o'clock on, right dead in the middle of the harbor walk, with customers walking through there, going at it, and hey Jeffrey, and then they were like buddies tomorrow. And they're like, well, it's because he was drinking, and it's like, well, one, you don't show your butt where you work or anywhere near it. Harbor Walk is a mall, and on the ocean front, and it's not cool. Um, that's why most places like you to leave your work. They don't like you to come during your off time. They want you to leave. So and it's not like a place to party. If you've ever worked a bar and the first bartender decides they're going to go sit on the other side of the bar, and then they want you to wait on them, and they're just a jerk the more they drink. They treat you like trash. Then they get in altercations with customers. Then they harass the crap out of you. They show their butt, get in a fight, start giving orders, and they're sitting there, doing the elbow job, lifting that drink, getting stupid. Well, that's why a lot of bars will say you don't come here to party and you leave after your shift, because it's a problem. And it's a pretty good policy, you know, because it stops the bull crap. You don't want to do something stupid and screw up at work, and then you know uh, get fired because something you did on your off time. You know, you should respect the house always. But yeah, but I'm a firm believer in not discussing any kind of, especially negative business. I mean, that's just not appropriate for you to approach another employee and what I call pick a fight. You know, try to talk it out and tell somebody how it is. That's just, one, is creepy. Two, it's very unprofessional. If there's any problems, then take care of that with management president, and just do it that way so you have witness to the whole thing. Because you're going to get that she said thing all day long, and then nobody's going to believe it. And it's just better to do it with management and make sure it's clear. That way management can make their decision on how they wish to handle it, or rectify it, or tell the other person, no, you're wrong, uh, and that's why you have management. So, yeah. But it's just, I don't know. I I've worked in the bar and restaurant business for so many years. It just seems kind of amazing to me. And I've worked for some really wonderful companies. Um, it just amazes me in this day and age how simple stuff just is such a problem. You know, um, life is not that hard. I told that manager that this morning with him arguing with this other manager who was standing there. I said, why do you keep reiterating? Why do you keep arguing? There's no argument. It's over with. You've brought it up like 6 times in 30 minutes. Why? Well, because you're hard to work with. Why would I be hard to work with? The point was made. You know, customers first. I mean, life is not that difficult. You must be running from the law or scared to answer the phone. That's all I can think of. But that's his biz. So I don't know. Then they were trying to tell me, well, you should make the customers wait and then deal with the phone call first. And I'm like, whatever you want me to do, make sure that's what you exactly want me to do. And I would be happy to do that in the future. You know, because still can't defy management. But at first they agreed and then they changed their mind. So it was like, I don't know. So, but other than that, that's kind of about it. I just, I just hold my breath because I see so much stupidity and things that are so easy to handle. It's like, don't sweat the small stuff, you know? Just keep the day going, keep it positive, keep it smooth. It's all that matters. But we have these little kids things that a lot of times the kids leave, and so they'll put it through the dishwasher. It ends up going through twice, and you have to use, federal approved sanitizers and soaps and all this. It's a really nice dishwasher they use, and uh, and sometimes the dishwashers don't stack them right in the trays and stuff, and some will come a little dirty. And you just take those and put them back through the dishwasher area. Not hard. It's like one out of every 100. Um, and I mean, that's the sanitizer and sterilizer is government required, and this machine measures it itself and everything. And so I mean, it's really super clean. And this girl, I went. She went to go get a brand new case. Why? I don't have a clue. Because we're supposed to take the ones out of the kitchen first, and there were stacks of them. I went back to get them all, and one because she was hiding because they were flipping the chairs over, and she disappeared, and she was there before me, and she just walked away. And I was told by the GM the other day to get down there and help flip those chairs off those tables, you know, to set up the dining room. And I did it, you know, because I was asked to. And so every time I come in, when I see those chairs up like that, from them obviously cleaning the night before, then I just start flipping chairs. And there might be no other people helping me. There might be one other person helping me. It could be a server, it could be a busboy, it could be whoever. I just keep flipping chairs, you know, um, because that's what I was told to do, you know, one time. So, I mean, when we're not open yet, we don't open till 11. So, I'm scheduled for before 11. So, but, yeah, so, she just decides that she's going to disappear. She, like, doesn't come back for, like, 15 minutes. And then I saw this note written on the board. I've checked IDs. Oh, I didn't need to see it. I've checked IDs at a bar and was bar back. I always was nervous when the Navy SEALs came in to party, but they never made trouble. What could I have done about it? On Guam. Guam is another situation. Um, I had a boyfriend that used to love to go work at Guam on those. They call it. My boyfriend Kelly, that was with Kelly O'Brien. They would pay you for 3 to 6 months and fly you back and forth for free if you would go work like on one of those posts. But it's like gated in, secured thing, like a little base. And then you're not supposed to like really go out of the base. Everything you're supposed to do is like inside. And so they'll have like a cocktail lounge there and some other stuff. And so it's kind of a different little scene. I'm not really sure how the military handle it. Yeah, Guam, the country, right? And so uh, I'm not sure how they handle a lot of that. I know that it's very delicate situation. You could be blown up any day and all that. That's why they pay so high, and they'll fly you back to your family every 3 or 6 months for free. But it's a huge amount of money if you're willing to take that risk. But I'm not sure exactly how they handle with the military. Um, uh, I've doormanned a few times when the club was short and stuff. I'm like, hey, do you mind helping on the door? I'm like, no, sure, you know. And I've even helped do it for free. I've even helped DJ for free. Um, uh, when I walked in a club and said, man, we're short. Can you help? I was like, yeah. Um, and it's just, it's, um, different policy for every house, but um, I I knew a kid for years. He's like baby brother to me. Juvie, Tony's son, which Tony apparently has passed away just recently. Um, and uh, I knew Juvie when he was 15 years old. Um, and he was doorman at the Green Frog on Oakley's Island, and he would be carding people and stuff, and he knew a lot about IDs. It was really interesting. He was like, "Yeah, this one guy had this ID, and it was like cracked completely in half," and he said, "I refused him." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, he had both halves, but I refused him because the ID was cracked in half, or an ID that was expired, even though it had their picture on it, it was expired." Um, oh yeah, they pay huge money if you'll go work on those bases like that, and you don't have to be military to do so. You just have to be willing to go away for 3 or 6 months, something like that. They have a term contract that you sign, and that's what you agree to. And they pay humongous money. It's real good for single people if you don't have family, wife, husband, whatever, kids. It's real big for single people that don't care, and are willing to take that risk. And they pay you just huge, huge kind of money. I don't know if they still do a lot of that anymore, but I knew a lot about that for several years because I knew people that actually did that kind of stuff. And they were like, "Yeah, man, I've been working 3 months and overseas, and I was making this much money by the hour and all." I was like, "Wow!" But they just pay you extra high to take the risk. It's like that Robin Williams movie, Good Morning Vietnam, whatever it is, and it's a lot like that, you know. Um, uh, that's not like just some really made up stuff. That's like really serious stuff, like when they blew up that bar and all that other stuff, and how your best friend ends up being the enemy and stuff like that. It's like supposedly very true about all that stuff, you know. But you look it up on the internet and see, because it's just like working Alaska. Alaska's another really great place to go to work. Um, Especially strippers. They'll pay you if you'll go out there for like 3, 6 months or a year, and they supposedly give you housing and all kinds of stuff. They'll fly you out there for free. Um, but you have to do the contract term, and then um, uh, they'll do it like for Guam and some other stuff. Yep, yep. The internet's been really slow, and I wanted to see if gas would come down a little bit more before I go back on the road dressing entertainers, because I make huge money doing that. Uh, my overall hourly a year is $100 an hour doing that. So, and I got lots of stock to run. No problem. I don't even have to sew. The problem is fuel is the biggest thing. Fuel, and I need two more tires, because I would never go on the road unless I had 4 new tires. Period. I just wouldn't. Um, so once I get that done. But in the meantime, trying to rent a place like where I'm at now is like 2,000 a bedroom, and then you have to have the deposit. So um, that's a lot of money. The last 2 places I rented, I had 5,000 cash in hand. So, and I went and got money orders. Once I cut the deal, I immediately got money order and gave it to them, in the next 30 minutes. Because if you say, "Let me think about it," somebody else is going to come get it. So that's the way I did it. But yeah, it's horrible. But what I'm trying to do is get, cash resilient to where, um, I can, afford to get a place and keep it or whatever. I mean, I've always loved being on the big road and stuff and the traveling and everything. It's sad when you do it by yourself, because there were so many years I did it. I wished I'd have had my kids with. you know, to share it with, um, because there's so many fun, neat things you see. You go, wow, I wish so and so was here, or you know, there's so many beautiful things in the United States that you just come across driving that other people would appreciate too. And it's such a shame not to be able to share that. So, uh, but other than that, I mean, I never had a problem too much. Sometimes, in the last like 10 years, some of the clubs got very dangerous, where I just escaped really bad situations with guns or fights or cars driving through clubs and crazy crap. The good thing about my business is I can leave anytime. You know, if things are getting negative or edgy or whatever, I work for me. So all I have to do is say, I'm done with this shift, do my paperwork, pack my stuff up, go pay house to management and tell them thank you, I appreciate it, and go on my merry way. And if I have loaders and unloaders, then I can tip those security guys, which they're rare now. Before it was all full service, and especially if you tipped. And I was so willing to tip to have that service. I mean, there was times where, like, all I did was carry my pocketbook into a club. It was such good service. Uh, so, and I don't know really how well the clubs are faring out after the pandemic. Haven't really kept hold on any of that stuff. So, but I do make way more money than that. My stuff just does not run well online. Yes, I do need to take my website and Xerox all that off, get that over with, and then go ahead and produce the new one on the new format and stuff. Um, and see if it'll do anything by itself, because it's so expensive to sell on the internet, you know, through these other people, on these websites. It just costs money. And to me, it's just kind of like spending money to go down the drain. It's very competitive nowadays, especially like on eBay and stuff. Ooh, man, there's so many sellers on there now. It's really hard. It's not like it was in the early 2000s, where if you had a good product, you list it, you could sell hand over fist. Now, my website's still up. It's just the problem is that the format it's set on is expired. Like a year ago, they decided to terminate it. And so there's no updates, and I can't even go in and change it. I think it was as of February, March. They said you will no longer be able to update or change. So I can't change anything on the website. I can't change the price. I can't remove an item. I can't do anything. And I don't want to delete it because everything's on there. And some stuff's lost because it was stolen on computers that were stolen out of the other storages that I was still paying on. So I need to print it on the printer. That way, if I have to, I can rephotograph it and then try to reuse some stuff. That I need to print it all off so I have it. Plus, it also catalogs everything that was stolen in those other storages. So, um, because I mean, I can look at the site and go, I'm not sure if I still have that or not. Um, and so a whole new site has to be started over and put all the new stuff in, and then whatever's left that wasn't stolen out of the storages that I do actually have. I need to go ahead and list the stuff that I do actually have. I don't like to have anything on the site that I don't have in my hand. I am not one of those people that likes to put a bunch of crap up on there and make people wait 4 weeks or 6 weeks for an order, because no, I don't use WordPress, because you've got to go order it from somebody else. I like to have the merchandise in my hands and ship ASAP. I'm not one of those fake amount people that list 2,000 items and they don't have any of it, because you don't know what tomorrow brings. If you can't get a hold of that item, or you order it from 3 different people, and one's early and the other 2 are late or whatever, It's not worth all that hassle. It's better just to sell what you actually have and just go from there. I have lots of stock, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock. It's not like I'm hurting. I got tons. It's sitting dormant. I'm paying storage fees on, and I'm losing money on it every day doing that. So it needs to be sold. But it sells so much faster in person on the road than it does on the website. But right now, while I'm kind of sitting idle, before my car's ready to be on the road, um, then I want, to try to start the new website with a new um, format. And I have like two or three other choices that they're offering that I don't have to pay for. But I don't know if it's going to be you know, operate the same way as the other one that I got so used to using. The only thing is with my website, it doesn't have like the grocery basket effect, which I always hated that because they have to literally buy one item at a time and pay for it. Where, you know, some of these other sites have the grocery basket effect where you can go in there and, put like 10 items in the grocery basket and then you can, buy them all at once and don't have to pay gigantic shipping fees. Um, so that's the thing that I've missed so much, you know. It's sort of like going on Amazon where, you can order from a whole bunch of different sellers and then you can, pay for it all at one time or piece by piece. Um, Usually, if you pay for it all at one time, you get a much better deal. The only thing is, if you say, I'll, take it and have it all shipped all at one time, the problem is you got to wait for all that stuff to be put together so they can ship it. Don't think that's a quicker solution because it's not. Um, because you might have two sellers that have the stuff ready and one that's not, or they're FBA sellers where the stuff's in stock. So, but I've been having sales on that site and it's stuff that I don't even have in stock, so I have to refund them immediately. He would sell items on eBay, but I item as a gift on Amazon. Drop shipping is bullcrap. Drop shipping is so puss. It is nasty. I can't stand a damn drop shipper. They're so trashy, and I'll tell you exactly why. As I ordered some beautiful guitar cases. Okay, I and and I mean, it was from this one seller. It was so great, and I would order, a guitar case at a time because I bought some collector's guitars and stuff, which those were stolen in the other storages. It was so pitiful. I had beautiful Alvarez in there, and uh, the problem is you don't know what you're selling. So these people get into this drop shipping crap, like they'll, want to do it from China or Mexico. This was from Mexico, okay, where these guitar cases were coming from, and they're gorgeous. They're black, the heavy duty guitar case, beautiful velvet inside, and it had gold ornamentation on the outside. All the locks were in gold, the key was gold. It was just really done nicely, and they were quite reasonable. Um, and so I had ordered one, um, and and then I had ordered one after that, like a week or two after that, and because I won some auctions somewhere else on two guitars, and I said, hell, I got to go order another one. So I went and ordered another one, and one came, and it was gorgeous, and it took, like 2 weeks, and it was absolutely beautiful. I said, gosh, I can't wait to get this other one. And the other one didn't come for like a month. And, by then you couldn't even, and it was on Amazon. And then after like a month, you can't leave a review or something at that time. So it really sucked because you couldn't leave a review when you finally got the item because it was too late. So you can't warn other customers about the problem. That was really bad. Especially order stuff that all of a sudden you find out it's coming from the Orient. It's going to take like 90 days. They only give so much time for the customer to leave a review, and then you're blocked from leaving a review, and that's not even fair. So the other one takes a while to get, and when it comes, it's all freaking damaged. I mean, bad damaged. And they put it in a huge box, and they're supposed to have all this wrapping on it and a bunch of, wads of paper all around it and stuff like that. Well, the second one that came didn't have all that. I, I mean, it had like two pieces of paper in the thing, and there was no way that was going to keep that big heavy guitar case from banging around. And I'm talking about a nylon, acoustic guitar, not a freaking, electric guitar. Okay, not a steel string guitar. Okay, I'm talking a big case. All right. So, and those cases are heavy. So, if they drop them from the airplane into the big trash bin thing that's down below, they throw them off the plane. And then they go through the luggage thing and they get slammed all around. I mean, the stuff's going to get banged around. So it's really got to be packed well. If you ever send anything through mail, it goes through Atlanta, which is a main hub. The postal workers told me about how that thing is like 6 stories high, and it's just a round conveyor belt thing that goes all the way down the building, and the stuff just gets thrown all around. I said, boy, you should see Atlanta. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So that it really takes a beating when it's there. So that's why packing's so extremely important. And papers and newspapers don't really do justice. So anyway, this thing came in, it was all bashed up, and they were brought in by, I guess it was UPS. And that second one, it took forever to get, and it was just trash. I was mad as fire. And so, I'm going back and forth with Amazon over it, and the seller and everything. And it's like, man, they freaking got my money. I got garbage for guitar case, Yeah, it is. And so they finally they decided that I was to ship it back, and which, it was a good thing I kept the box and all the stuff, because, you got to photograph all that and send that to Amazon too. And then it takes them forever to make their decision. It's kind of like eBay and PayPal playing games. Same stuff, different day. So anyway, finally they said, okay, just ship it back. Blah, blah, blah. Well, the problem was that it turned out it was drop shipped. The truth had come out, because I was like, how the heck do you ship an item in that condition? Okay, it's bad enough it wasn't packed right, but it just looks like, you didn't inspect it before it even left. How did you not inspect your product before you shipped out? And then it was like, it came out, they admitted that they drop ship it, so they're not around to see it because it's shipped out of Mexico, and da 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 da. And so that's the bottom line. This is why I do not like drop shipping. One, you're not seeing that product before it's shipped out to inspect it to make sure it's proper and right before you ship it, because you know darn well the customer's going to be mad if it's received damaged or not the same exact product as what they had ordered, blah, 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 blah. It's a really bad way to do business. Okay. And you don't know if they ship anything at all. What if they just ship an empty freaking box? What if they ship a freaking volleyball instead of a guitar case? Because all these big sites are recording tracking numbers, right? And no, I didn't have to send it back to Mexico. I ended up sending it to Amazon, because I told them, I said, this guy's a drop shipper, and this thing came from Mexico. So, I mean, what do you want me to do with it? So it had to be shipped back to Amazon. And I think that's where the Amazon flats come in, where people will buy those flats. It's stuff that's returned. But anyway, so Yeah, messy, 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 messy. So please don't do drop shipping because you cannot see that product before it's shipped out. You don't know if they even ship it. It will ruin your ratings, which it's so easy to be terminated on those sites nowadays. If somebody orders something and you've sent the wrong thing, or it's damaged or damaged in shipping because you didn't pack it well, if you've pissed a customer off, it only takes a few times to piss customers off, and then they just close your account. You know, they're really strict nowadays. They don't have the time of day. They have so many sellers. They don't have the time of day to babysit the problems. You know, so drop shipping is one big no-no. Do not ever attempt to sell anything you don't have, especially on the Amazon. Let me tell you how bad it was with drop shippers. They would say, okay, I have, 400 of these in stock and 1,000 of these in stock and da da da. And then you know what Amazon does? They close your account temporarily, but they make you still ship. You can't turn your orders off. Okay. And they will investigate you. They did me and did it for like 3 months. I was mad as fire. And they were trying to see if I really had the products that I was selling. And I'm like, are you kidding? I mean, these are my products, licensed and registered to my business. Um, I have them in hand. I have receipts. All this stuff, for my other merchandise. I mean, I have all that. And so, but they still do this little audit thing as soon as you sign up for a store. You're going to get screwed as soon as you sign up for a store. Because anytime they're going to stop it, but you still have to ship, and they will not let you have your money. It's all being held. So it's like you're shipping your products out, not getting paid. Plus, you're paying for the shipping, which bites, and they won't let you turn it off until they're done with their so-called audit. And God, it took 3 months. And finally, they cut me loose. But if you look on the internet, you'll see where Amazon stopped sellers that were doing like stereos and electronics and had sales hand over fist and had, thousands of dollars hung up for months, or 6 months or whatever, because Amazon stopped them for audit because they wanted proof. They had all those items in stock. So you don't want to list like you got thousands of something because they're going to jump you immediately. And um, you don't want to do any drop ship stuff because they want receipts and proof, you know, that you actually have the product and that it's not stolen, you know. So there's all kinds of things, but drop ship is a 100% big no no. And I see these people doing these ads going, yeah, I made $100,000 in 30 days. Drop shipping. That's how I did it. And all I do is spend an hour every morning on the internet duplicating these ads and putting them on my website. And there's also some other weird scamming. I don't know if I'd want to do it. I would really have to talk to a lawyer about it because I think there's some legalities involved. There's something that was said about they need people to list stuff on other people's sites because they can't sell all of it themselves. And that kind of bothers me. It's like, are you trying to hide from taxes or what? Why are you enlisting all these other people? I mean, you aren't a big enough person to start a website or, But yeah, that's what they'll do. They're recruiting other people to sell. And to me, it just sounds strange. That would be like me paying other people to sell my products on their sites. Why would I do that? You know, why would I enlist 100 people to sell my product when I can sell it myself? I mean, unless there's something lost in the translation there, you know. So, yeah. So I don't know, but yeah. So the storm looks like it's settled down a little bit. I don't think it will stop all day. But yeah, so that's the problem with the dropship crap. It just You can't be sure they really shipped. You can't be sure the condition of the item they shipped, and you can't be sure they shipped the right thing. It's not worth the risk. Other than the fact, if it's like being fake shipped, I hate fake shipping. Like you order some on eBay or Amazon, and it'll say from the USA, from New York or something, and then guess what happens? It takes 90 days for the thing to arrive. And you're like, why is it taking 90 days if it's coming from New York? To another U.S. state. I don't get it. And it's because they're using a fake address in a United States state, and it's actually coming from, Shenzhen, China, or Japan or some crap, and it's sitting in, 3 or 4 different customs places before it even hits the U.S. And it could be there for weeks or a month before it gets through. And I don't care how big or little the item is, it just takes forever. So, I used to order from the Orient a lot. When I had my e-cig business, I used to order a lot from the Orient because I had them manufacturing my e-cigs in the Orient, but I made my own juices. So I don't like Oriental juices. I don't know what's in them. But yeah, so yeah, they use a drop shipper call in New York or New Jersey or some crap like that, and then it sits in customs in New York. Okay, and that can take weeks, and that's why it takes so damn long, because they're trying to see if they're shipping illegal stuff. So that's why it has to go through customs if it's bombs or illegal stuff. So when you order from the Orient to the U.S., you're talking like 3 to 4 customs places before it even gets to you, and it takes forever. So, and remember, they're opening the package up, and they're supposed to be like reclosing the package, and a lot of times they don't close it up right, or they lose parts of it. So, thank you. I got soaking wet when I left work because I was walking right through the damn storm with the tornado flying. But anyway, so yeah, it's just not a really good thing to do. Period. It's just not. And I hate when that stuff comes up when you order from Amazon and then you can't cancel your order because all of a sudden, they say right away that they shipped, and they send tracking number and nothing's there. And every day you check the tracking number, there's nothing there. And then after a week you check the tracking number and it says Shenzhen, China. And I'm like, Shenzhen, China? What is this? This must be the wrong tracking number. Oh no. That's where they're shipping it from. And you get mad as hell and you can't stop the order. Because now it's going to take 90 days. You already spent that money to get that item you were hoping to get in about 3 days or a week. And now you're not going to see it for like 30 to 90 days. Or maybe never. And it'll surely be a piece of junk on top of it. And you wished you would have ordered from somebody else. It just makes you so mad when it's something you really got to have. And, you didn't want it in 1 to 3 months. That's just not cool. So, drop shipping is one big no-no. No, 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 no. Don't ship anything you don't have in hand. And if you can't afford to buy a bunch of it so that you can have a bunch of it on hand, don't do it. Just don't list anything you don't actually have. Now, if you're doing handmade stuff, like Etsy is all handmade. They want all handmade stuff or antique stuff. And you can take as long as you want to make an item. You list it in your ad. If it's going to take you a week, or if it's going to take a month, or it's going to take 6 months to make, whatever it is, you better ship by that date. And you can sit there and make it. Because when the customer buys that product, it says right there, it's a 4-week wait till you get the item, or it's a 1-week wait till you get the item, or it's a 2-day wait, or it's a 3-month wait. You can adjust it to your business load. I mean, I had a competitor that was doing glitter shoes, and they had a 3-month flipping wait because they had a lot of business. So, they don't want to overbook, right? So they'll put on there 3-month wait. And that way, when the customer orders, as long as they read the ad, this is the next big problem. Customers don't read ads. Then it's there. It says, there will be a 3-week wait for processing, shipping, whatever. And at least the customer will know this if they read the ad. So they don't get stuck ordering something, get pissed off, leave you negative feedback before they even got the product, whatever. Alert damn Etsy all day long and all that. Yeah, I still have to do a blog about that. But that was some bull crap. Because I really got to show you guys the emails. You'll never believe it. But anyway, so yeah, drop shipping is one big no-no. Very bad business. I mean, it's like when I did those guitar cases, when I contacted the seller, they were actually in the USA. And I said, how on earth did you ship that guitar case like that? Because the inside wasn't damaged in shipping, And they're like, I said, you should always inspect your products before you ship them out. And they're like, well, because it comes from Mexico. And it's like, why is it coming from Mexico? If it's coming from Mexico, they should be shipping it to you, and then you should be shipping out. There's no reason that you're having stuff shipped directly from Mexico. That's bullcrap. That's called drop shipping, and it's illegal on almost all sites. Why? Because it's too much problem. It's too much problem. It pisses customers off when all of a sudden they can't get the product for months at a time, or never at all, or really bad quality product. It's just the sites want nothing to do with it. They're like, forget it. If you don't have the product on hand, we don't want nothing to do with you. So believe that guy all day long who's telling you on the commercial on YouTube or eBay or whatever, saying I make $100,000 a day and all I do is drop ship. I don't even have to buy a product. I don't even have to invest. Yeah, forget it. Forget it. There was a guy in a discussion a few months back, and I forget what it was for. I think it was my friend's YouTube channel on Daily Refinement, Chris Lynn. Some guy commented, he said, I don't believe those at all. Yeah. He said some crap like, and I think I did a blog about it. He said something like, well, I don't care because they said something about we have to have tracking numbers and all that now with all these sites, which is a good thing. They should, because they make you nuts when you're waiting on an item. You got to keep sending letters to the seller and they don't answer you, or they're real snotty like, yeah, I shipped it. And then 2 weeks later, it's all of a sudden first shipped at United States Post Office, because they record all that, the date, the time, everything, and where it's exactly at. If the product is actually there, or they did nothing but buy a label, And this guy says, yeah, I just use fake tracking numbers. I can buy them. And it's like, what? So they're entering a fake tracking number. And they haven't even shipped the product. And it's like, why are you doing that? Well, I drop ship. And it's like, you're a dirty piece of trash. I had an eBay thing back in the early 2000s on some, I think it was like Playboy leather jackets. And they were like 125 each. And I think I ordered like 5 from this guy in like New York. And they never came. They never came. And I kept sending messages and the tracking number. All of a sudden, the tracking number says it delivered to Ohio or something. I was like, Ohio? Why did my order get delivered to Ohio? And I was mad as hell. And the seller's going, it's shown it's delivered. You got your items. I said, I don't live in Ohio. I said, you shipped it to the wrong person. That's your fault. And they were real rare jackets, and I bought like all that he had. It was like 4 or 5 of them, And it was like, dude, And we went round and round and round. And he put through when PayPal owned eBay or eBay owned PayPal, however they used to go. It's not like that anymore. You can't even use PayPal with eBay if you're a seller. You have to use something else, which might be good. And oh, I went round and round and round. I was so mad as hell because I never got my product, and I could never get my money back. You know, I could never get my money back. I was so mad, and I'm like, it's kind of obvious. It was delivered to a whole other state than what I live in. You know, I never got my products, and the guy kept sending me nasty messages and stuff, and I said again, like, I don't live in Ohio. You know, I mean, they'll scam you bad, people. You know, but yeah, fake tracking number. Oh my god. You know, you used to be able to do that years ago, where you could what you would do, like especially with Amazon, because they won't pay you till you ship. So what I would do as soon as the order came in, then I would grab my tracking number slips. I'd get a whole stack of them, pink ones from the post office, and keep them, you know, in my shop. And then as soon as I get an order, I'd pull the slip and whatever papers I had to have and the packaging materials, whatever, and then go ahead and send the tracking number and all that kind of stuff to the customer immediately. So that way, on the next pay period, Amazon would pay me, because if you didn't get the tracking number in, then they would wait till the next pay period to pay you for those items. So I would do that immediately as soon as the order came in on the computer, so I could make sure my stuff was all going to be in my pay. But it was real tracking number, so it was the tracking number I was going to use on that product that I was going to ship out. So whether I shipped it out in the next hour and a half, or I shipped it out tomorrow morning, whatever it was, when I got item out of the box, whatever, then it was going to have that tracking number. So I just went ahead and entered it, so it was there. Yeah. So especially it's like the day before payday on the Amazon cutoff. You want that stuff in there, because otherwise you're going to wait another couple weeks. Now, I understand they've changed a lot of that now, where you get paid more often or by the day or something on Amazon. I'm not sure how that goes exactly, but back then it was like every 2 weeks you got paid. So, you know, you want to make sure that all your orders were shipped really quick so that you could get your pay. Otherwise, you entered the true tracking number you're going to use in there. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you can't, like on eBay and Amazon, sometimes you can't even go in there and change that tracking number. They won't let you do it because they think it's fraud. Even if you did it accidentally, they don't like it, and it'll get you in trouble. So yeah, so that's the deal. But yeah. So, but anyway, God, I'm so bummed I lost more hours today. Dear God. I do not know. But anyway, so there you have it. Anyway, I've got to go get some stuff to do here, because I got lots to do. Was I go checking my other job offers out and signing up for my days off. Or I'm moving these storages around, because I think I'm getting ready to combine two if I can do it successfully. I don't know if I have exactly enough room yet, but I may have exactly enough room, and I can save myself $200 if I can combine one with the other successfully. A friend of mine looked at it and went, no. And I said, well, we'll see. And I've been working on it like every day this week. So um, uh, it looks like it's a grandeur possibility I can really get this stuff uh, stacked and done right, because it was just thrown in there. Well, maybe with the people I had helping me move. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. I love you. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe in the weather and do something kind for a stranger. And I will see you in the next one. Love you.